happy Saturday afternoon. You're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but this is probably like the fourth time that I'm recording this, and hopefully it's my last. I'm coming to you today via this video to let you know that I won't be going live tonight because I'm going to be working on our coffee trailer with our team to get that ready for next weekend, and so we're still working on that. So I'm not going to be able to go live because we're doing that this evening. It's a lot cooler in the evening here in Texas, and so I won't be able to be with you guys tonight. So I wanted to just share a few things with you tonight or today on this video to kind of help you be aware of some things and just kind of put you in a mode of being vigilant for yourself and what's going on around you. So I want you guys, and I'm probably going to do a video on this, how I set this up on my computer, but here in my office, I have my laptop here, and my laptop is connected to a TV that we're not using, and it's a larger TV, and so I utilize it as my monitor. But because of how big it is, I can actually have a lot of windows open with different things in them. So when I talk about being vigilant, I look at being aware of things on a broad scale, right? Just like you're listening to this video right now, you have a lot of other YouTube channels that you watch. And, you know, I've always said I don't want my channel to be a channel of doom and gloom and the end of the world. But I want to be able to share with you opportunities that you can learn how to be aware of things that are happening for yourself, right? It's all about being aware and being able to move in that awareness, right? It's about being proactive. It's about maintaining. And so that's what God's Prepared Warrior is all about. And, you know, we look at that on two levels, the practical and the spiritual. And so today I want to just share this video with you about being vigilant, right? So I'm going to share a few things that I have here open on my computer. I have several screens that are up, and I will share that with you now. So let's go to the Department of Defense. So I have the Department of Defense website up, and I would encourage you to look at these websites because they're going to throw out news and information. And what I want to share with you today is an article that caught my eye, and like you, listening to other prepper channels and the things that they say, I want to kind of point things out for you, talking about being vigilant and knowing what's happening in our world, right? So there's this article that came out yesterday, and it is titled Austin, talking about Lloyd Austin, right? It says Austin, U.S. allies, U.S., allies, partners united in Ukraine's defense from expansionist Russia. This caught my eye because for so long, our government here in the U.S. said that we are not in a war with Russia. And like all of you, I myself are looking at everything, right? And everything points to the fact that we are, right? Even though our government says we are not. But we know that we have people over there. We know that we have our weapons over there. We know that we are sending our tanks, our airplanes over there, right? But this article today kind of just really takes the cake, and I want to read this to you because I want you to be able to see what I see, right? Talking about being vigilant, talking about how Fernando is, looking at things that are happening and what he does to prepare for those things, right? So this article says Europe now faces new dangers from an aggressive and expansionist Russia. The Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, today during a meeting with French Minister of Armed Forces, Sebastien Lecornu. This is yesterday, right? This is talking about yesterday. They all got together. There's a big picture here of the president of Ukraine and all of these people here shaking hands with smiles all the way across. And then it goes on to say, and it says, France, comma, the United States and other nations of goodwill have come together to defend Ukraine's right to self-defense, Austin said. So this really caught my eye because it goes against what everyone's been saying, that we're not in a war, and this right here kind of lays down that we are in a war. So I tell you guys, I have all of this here for me to see and to read, and it moves me in a preparedness way, right? So as preppers, we all talk about being ready, right, for whatever disaster, right? Whether that's a weather-related disaster, or whether that's this kind of a disaster. So this kind of puts my mind in readiness mode, right? It puts me in a mode of activity, not in a mode of just rest and comfort. So my mind is always thinking about what are some things that I can do to prepare my family. And when I read things like this, it makes me move all of my stuff closer to the door, if you catch my drift, right? So I don't read these things as doom and gloom, but these things are kind of a map for me to be ready for the things that I've been preparing for, and it puts me in that mode, not in a mode of panic. I'm not in a mode of what do I do, because I already know what I'm gonna do, right? So I want you guys to begin to do that for yourself, because I think for the longest time we have been the sleeping giant, and I think as Americans, it's time for us to wake up to what is happening around us. I think we have for far too long given up things so that other people can run them. And so the government right now is running on its own, and instead of working for us. And so I am in a very watchful mode of what's happening, because when I look at all of these pieces, to me it's like a big chess game, and things are moved here, things are moved there, and when you look at it, it's getting closer to us. For example, I posted a video on TikTok yesterday. If you follow my TikTok, that's probably where you're gonna see doom and gloom, because I always post videos of this is happening, be vigilant, right? So yesterday I posted a video about how Russia is now sending their warships over to dock in Cuba, and what's right outside of Cuba? The state of Florida, right? And a lot of people will say, well, Fernando, they said that they're not going to have nuclear weapons on these ships. And I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. But everybody's only looking on the surface level, right? And I'm not using that as just words. I'm really talking about everybody's only looking on the surface, because what's under the water, right? We also have to remember that Russia has submarines, right? And those submarines are loaded with nuclear weapons. And so what's to say, right, that this is maybe a cover for the Trojan horse that's going to come in, right? Um, Fernando is ready. That's all I'm gonna say. Fernando's ready. So I want you guys to have this kind of vision that I see. Right? It's not just surface level things. I always think on another level, and what is this? And then I also, don't just stop there, but I go to God with all of these things. God, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to protect my family? What if, God, this happens? And then I'm always reminded that I need to trust in the Lord, right? So God is the one who's fighting that battle, but Fernando's not ever going to be a victim. Fernando is going to move, and he's going to be active. So I want you guys to be able to see these things too and how they're happening, right? So, so that's on a kind of like being vigilant on a world level, right? So let's bring it in a little even closer, right? So that was the Department of Defense webpage. I also have the FBI webpage up here, and I'm on their blog, their news blog. And for June 2024 on their news blog, there are several things here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these things, but I just want you to understand something here. So let me go ahead and go through this real quick, right? So it says here that the FBI plays a key role in combating violent crimes across our country, right? And so they are also helping the United States in what they do. So here's the top story here says former U.S. soldier turned a foreign fighter extradited from Ukraine to the United States for 2018 double homicide, armed robbery, immigration document offenses, aggravated identity theft, and other charges. Right. So this guy, he is being charged in the Middle District of Florida, right, and the District of Arizona and North Carolina, right. So he is in trouble because he went on an international crime spree that included double murder in Florida, attempts to internationally to engage in other acts of violence outside the United States, and a plot to evade law enforcement detection by trading guns, a grenade, and cash to use other person's identity and apply for a U.S. passport under an assumed name. So this is close to home, right? If you're in Florida, if you're in North Carolina, if you're in Arizona, right? Here's the next title says, ex-husband of Real Housewives of New Jersey star convicted of violent crime in aid of racketeering and obstruction of justice. Okay, this is New York. The next bullet point says, Bloods gang member sentenced to 12 years in prison for violent takeover of New York City's fire mitigation industry. So this guy is sentenced to 12 years in prison for his role in terrorizing the fire restoration industry of New York City. This is New York. The next title says, Illinois predator sentenced to 42 years. I don't think I need to read anything there other than that statement right there. This is Illinois. The next one, or the last one on this page, says, man sentenced for destruction of an energy facility after shooting at 2 Idaho hydroelectric power plants. So he is now in jail for trying to sabotage the power plant. This is home, right? I live in Texas, and Texas has, you have your city police if you live in the city, you have your county sheriff if you are outside the city and you're in the rural area. You also have the Texas Highway Patrol, and so you have all of these law enforcement in Texas, right? I'm pretty sure you guys in all of your states where you are have the same thing. And there's crime everywhere. And it's so important for us not to be just vigilant on a worldwide scale, but we should be vigilant and situationally aware of where we are. I did a video on this not too long ago, and I'll add the link here in the video. But we should be situationally aware where we are, right? Fernando goes into a restaurant with his family, and Fernando sits where he can see the exits, the entrances, and people that are in the building. And it's not just because I was a correctional officer at one point, or I was working in the prison system here in Texas as a chaplain, but because I have learned to be situationally aware of my surroundings. I know what is happening either in front of me or behind me or to the sides because I'm aware of that. And I think that we as Americans have not had to be in that way because of all of the systems that have been in place for us. But those systems are slowly breaking down because there's just people who don't care anymore in those things that keep them right. So we see that not just in a city level or a town level where we are, but we also see it on a national level with our own government, right? So today's video is just about that. It's just about you being aware of where you are and what's happening around you. I think that we need to be in a state of readiness. If we go to the grocery store, we should be in a state of readiness when we're out with our family. You just never know. You never know if something's going to happen or something's going to happen next to you, right? Could be next to you at the next table at the restaurant. Maybe somebody starts choking. It's not a disaster, but I mean, it's a medical thing that is happening. And if you know how to give the Heimlich maneuver, I would hope that you would jump up from your chair, administer the Heimlich maneuver, and help that person. Why? Because you've been prepared, you've learned how to do those things. And so that's just on that kind of a level. You know, if you live in an area where a tornado just hit and your house was saved, praise the Lord first, and then help your neighbors, right? We should be in that state of readiness because we never know what could happen. And so the more that we are ready, the more that we are not just practically ready, but we're spiritual ready, the more we are God's prepared warriors. And so today, guys, I just wanted to share this with you just so that you are vigilant to the things that are happening, not just around you where you are, but also in the world, because when we are aware, it helps us to be ready. It helps us to be able to prepare. And, you know, if you're like me, your stuff is close to the door if you're going to bug out or if you're going to bug in, right? I mean, depending on what your situation is, right? So just wanted to come on today, this Saturday, since we're not going to go live tonight, and share this with you. Hopefully next week we can go live during the week in one of the evenings. And I look forward to connecting you live. So have a great weekend. This is Fernando for God's Prepared Warrior. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, this is Fernando, God's Prepared Warrior. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel.